Hello everyone, welcome along to this week's golf show. Once again, I'm here with Simon Dyson, six-time European Tour winner, to look ahead to both the European Tour event this week, which is a cracker, and also the PGA Tour as well, as we continue to build up to the Open Championship. Simon, it's getting to that time of year, isn't it? The best time of year, not only the golf, you've got the football, the tennis, but of course we are looking forward to the Open just a couple of weeks away.
You know what? June, July are always, in the calendar year, it's always a sport fest, isn't it? You know, great time of year. Like, obviously, it's the Euros. You know, we've got Wimbledon, we've got the Open coming up, the Irish, the Scottish. Just a great time. If you love your sport, then this is the time of year to really get excited.
What was it like as a golfer as well? I mean, I guess you tuned up for the Open Championship. That's probably the one that you really wanted to win, I would imagine, as a British player in particular. Did you really have to focus in at this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really change that much. Your focus and your process of building up to tournaments doesn't change that much. You might practice a few different things on ranges building up to the Open, you know, like the little three-quarter shots, like the bump and runs and things like that. But, you know, like, I always found that we never used to play courses that kind of really ran up to the Open, you know, like the Irish and the Scottish weeks before. Obviously, the Irish is earlier now than when we played it. But it'd be nice if they were actually playing proper links golf. You know, Renaissance is close, but then Mount Juliet, I mean, they've got some stunning links courses in Ireland, and it's just a shame that they don't kind of prepare for the Open better, because I think you'd get a lot more guys from America coming over if you did.
Yeah, we'll get to that shortly, because as you say, the two tracks in the build-up aren't exactly links, are they? So we might not learn too much in terms of who will handle the conditions at St. George's in a few weeks' time. Right, before we do that, let's just recap what happened last week. We'll start off with the BMW over in Germany on the European Tour. And it was the tournament favourite, wasn't it? Hovland, who shook off that withdrawal from the US Open, that bad eye, to win his first European Tour title by 2 shots from the home favourite, Martin Kaymer. And it was another example of a class act from the PGA Tour coming over to the European Tour and dominating, Simon. And I know you were thinking of backing him, but of course he had that bad eye. Weren't even sure if she was going to turn up.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest. I thought we'd see a WD by the side of his name. He was one that really stood out. It was no surprise that he was favourite. And, you know, for him personally, to be favourite in a tournament, there won't be that many tournaments where he's clear favourite. But to be favourite and come over and perform the way he did, he'll take a lot from that, I'm sure. And, you know, you look at someone like Viktor Hovland, the course suits him to a T. He's so aggressive. And that's a course that we knew around the 20 under par would win it. You know, you're averaging 5 under a day. You know, so it suited him down to the ground. But like I said, I didn't think he'd play, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I was the same as you. I thought both him and also Louis Oosthuizen didn't have the best of weeks. I thought both of them might withdraw in the end. But a brilliant performance from him. As I say, these class acts tend to come over and dominate when they do perform on the European Tour. He's up to 13th in the world now, so he was obviously a standout last week. And he looks a shoo-in for the Ryder Cup, and of course, he'll be confident going into the Open. He said he's going to take 2 weeks off and go to his native Norway before heading to Royal St. George's. So interesting to see if he can pick it right back up. I know you were a player that tended to like to play before a major, didn't you?
Yeah, and everybody's different, but he'll be a huge asset in the Ryder Cup on our team, on Europe's team, massively. But like you say about the guys coming over from America and dominating again, it's not, that's for me isn't showing the weakness of the European Tour or the European players. It's just showing the power of the American Tour for me. That, you know, it's got, if you looked at the top 40 in the world, the majority of them are going to be playing in America. So, you know, when they do come over, they are clear favourites, and he proved it once again.
Well, that's the thing, because there's so many Europeans playing on the PGA Tour, isn't there? So if they were only allowed to play on the European Tour, it would appear much stronger than it does.
It would, but it's very lucrative to play in America. You know, traveling's a lot easier out there now than it is around Europe. I know the guys it's demanding to travel around Europe now with all the tests and all the isolation and that now, whereas America's just a lot easier, and they're playing for 3-4 times the money that they are in Europe. So why wouldn't they go over there?
Yeah, we've seen that recently with the likes of Guido Migliozzi, also Garrick Higo. They get their cards and then they just stay over there and try and make it work, which I guess you can't blame them. It's disappointing from a European Tour point of view, but it's just something that seems inevitable at the moment.
It is absolutely. And you know what, with these Rolex events that are coming up, win one of those on the European Tour, you get a 2-year PGA Tour card. So it's almost encouraging even more of the lads to go over. So, it's great because that's where you want to pit your wits against the very best in the world. And unfortunately, at the minute, that's where it is on the PGA Tour.
Okay, well, one man who performed plenty of times on the PGA Tour, but nowadays has gone back onto the European Tour is Martin Kaymer, Simon. I know he's one of your old friends. And, well, it was close again, wasn't it? He's still not won since Pinehurst, since the 2014 US Open, which is incredible to think.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great to see him perform well this week, especially considering a few days before the event, he was told and it was announced that he would be one of Padre Carrington's vice captains. So almost as if to say, well, I've still got some game left. I can still qualify for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be trying his hardest because we all saw what he did at Medina. He's as cool as a cucumber, but it was great to see him 64 final round in his home event. Really, playing on his homeland. He'll have taken a lot of satisfaction from that, and he'll be looking forward to this week in Ireland. Showing that type of form. He's done well in Ireland before. So, yeah, it was really good to see him back playing good again.
Yeah, he'll be desperate to get back on that team, especially considering that it's at Whistling Straits, the scene of his PGA Championship win 11 years ago now, would you believe? So interesting to see if he can keep that form going. Maybe he'll pick him this week. We'll get to that shortly. Just to recap the BMW once again, we did get some each-way money back because Andy Sullivan, again, in a bit of a birdie fest, performed well, didn't he? A tie for 5th.
Yeah, he did well. Just had 4 solid days. And that's the kind of thing that he does. He makes a lot of birdies. You look at his wins; he's always finished plenty under par. Like I said, just a really good, solid all-round player and makes a lot of birdies. So that's why I fancied him. It was good to see him come in the top 5.
Okay, let's move on to the PGA Tour event now, which was the Travelers Championship, and Harris English prevailing after an 8-hole playoff, would you believe, to deny a Kramer Hickok last night. It was the second longest PGA Tour playoff in history, and both men made a series of clutch putts, didn't they, and parsays, and not only in regulation, but also in the playoff as well. Eventually, Harris English holding a 16-footer for the win, but that was dramatic last night, Simon.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it? I mean, the poor lad, he had a couple of really good chances. I mean, he hit some great putts as well, but we spoke about it before. You always fancied that it was going to be Harris English who came out on top. And he did. He made a great putt on the 8th playoff hole. But fair play to the other lad. He gave him a massive run for his money. But he's good, solid. I like watching Harris English. We said he reminds me a little bit of Patrick Cantlay. Just does a lot of things very well. And it's no surprise he's won multiple times.
And the crowd are really vocal. They were all pulling for Kramer Hickok to win the event, to the underdog to win his first title. So they didn't put off Harris English at all. He just stayed very stoic, no emotion, and managed to pull it off. And he's up to 12th in the world now. He was 3rd in the US Open a couple of weeks ago. He's a serious player, isn't he? One we perhaps should consider in the top tier nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get to there in the world, you're not doing much wrong, are you? So the last 2 winners have obviously from Europe and America, 12 and 13 now. So it's good to see him moving up in the right direction.
Just a word on some of your other favourites, because we see the likes of Leishman and Anser finishing in the top 5. So that must have pleased you. And also, I must mention Brooks Koepka as well, because, my fascination with him, especially around major season. I thought it was interesting that he was only lost by 3 shots. Despite being 52nd in putting, he was the man that led tee to green last week, despite also saying that he didn't really care about the event, which is interesting. I wonder if his fellow pros get annoyed by that, but he said he just can't focus on these events, yet he came close. So that's ominous going into the Open.
Yeah, and that surprised me really, to do with his putting, because he's so solid with his putting. Tee to green, we expect him to hit it how he does. But the putting side of it, it's always one of his strong points, knowing when to make those putts. And it just seemed to let him down a bit last week. But it's looking really good for him for the Open. I mean, that type of course, you know, the way he's hitting it, all his attention will be on that Open. So yeah, I'm sure you'll be tipping him again that week.
Yeah, it's not an ingenious way of doing it, is it? But it works. I think we mentioned before the last major that in the last 20 major appearances, he had 13 top 10s. So make that 14 in 21 now. So, and he came close at Royal Portrush, didn't he, a couple of years ago? So yeah, that one is already in the bank.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on, shall we, to this week, because we are building up to the Open Championship, and it's the Irish Open, Simon. And I believe this is an event that you did well in once.
Just once, but yeah, managed to fluke my way to a victory in 10 years ago. Can't believe it's 10 years ago. Time flies.
2011. What was the course?
Killarney.
Your memories of that week?
Yeah, do you know what? I remember playing with Graham McDowell first 2 days, and I think I shot 1 under the first day. And I remember chatting to Ken Conboy, Graham's caddy, and it was after I'd won it, and they'd had a conversation after the first day, and GMAC had said to Ken, "Flippinette, Dice played well today for 1 under." He said, "Fancy him to do well, you know, in the coming weeks." And Ken apparently turned around to him and went, "In the coming weeks?" He went, "I think he'll do well this week." And then I think I shot 7 or 8 under the following day, and then a couple of 4 or 5 unders after that, and won it. So
good job I didn't tell you and put you off.
Good judge of character, Ken. Yeah,
and
I remember playing really good for 1 under on that first day, but then the putts just started to flow from Friday onwards, and the back 9 on Sunday is probably the best golf I've ever played. You know, I flagged it, gave myself a lot of chances, birdied 16, stiffed it at 17, and then parred the last. And Richard Green, unfortunately for him, not for me, 3-putted the last, and that was mine. I won that. I won it.
It's the trophy pride of place on the mantelpiece.
Yeah, I've got it. Do you want to have a look?
Yeah, go on.
There she is.
There you go. You come prepared. I like it. It's a beautiful trophy.
It's a gorgeous. It weighs an absolute ton as well. But the first one that they sent me, it came in this massive container, padded. We opened it up, and it was in about 1,000 pieces. And
really?
Then, you get the plinth underneath with all the names on. So I kept the plinth, and then they sent me another one of these. And then Jamie Donaldson won it the following year, but they only sent him this. So I happened to have 2 plinths. So I said, right, I've got one for you. So I gave him my spare plinth. So he was happy. And I think he's got like a games room in his house, and his takes pride of place on his shelves as well. Great
memories from 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, I don't mind if you carry on for the rest of the show, just clutching it like a baby. That's like you did.
I will do then. I'll just keep it there like that.
Because you look very comfortable and very happy with that by your side. Let's talk about the course then this year, shall we? Because we do change it year to year, and we're at Mount Juliet in Kilkenny this time. We've not been here for the Irish Open since 1995. In fact, it was a 3-year stretch when Faldo, Langer and Torrance won back-to-back, so not bad. And also we had a World Golf Championship here in the early 2000s at Tiger Woods and Ernie Els. So you do get good winners at this track. I think that definitely emphasises that. What can you tell us about the course, Simon?
You know what? It reminds me a lot of the K Club. Tree lined, you know, typical like Irish course, tree line. And again, you know, we don't know much about the course, how soft it's going to play, if it's going to play firm. But they always get the courses in impeccable condition, always. So we know it's going to be beautiful. I've seen a few of the lads on Instagram posting things already, and it does look immaculate. So weather permitting this week, hopefully we'll get a nice dry week and there'll be some golf. But I think it's a ball strikers course again. You know, K Club shows that with the K Club's past winners. But yeah, really, it looks really nice. It looks really nice. And I'm gutted I never got the chance to play it, because I've heard a lot of people talk about it in such high esteem as well.
But one of the key things is that it's a tree-lined parklands, isn't it? It's not your typical links course ahead of the Open Championship.
Yeah, and sometimes I remember playing Ballybunion, beautiful links course, and that was always and you've got Portmar, place like that, and I'd really like them to do something like that. Before the Masters, they play Houston and they get it as close to Augusta conditions as they possibly can. And it draws an unbelievable field. And why wouldn't it? And I'd love the European Tour to do a little bit more of that. But unfortunately, they're kind of dictated by the courses that want it and, offer the most. So it's a shame, really. I'd like to see a lot more links golf played, as I'm sure a lot of the pros would. But taking that out of the equation, I mean, it's still a beautiful destination to play.
And what are you looking for this week? Is it going to suit anyone in particular?
I just think short game will come into it, approach shots. I just think the good ball strikers, pure ball strikers, and two of the lads I've gone for, one of them's one of the best in the world at it. So, and do you know what? Just pretty straight, accurate driving as well. I mean, it's 7,200 past 72. It's not the longest course we've ever seen. So with it being tree lined, you're going to want to keep it in play. So off the tee, if you can be strokes gained off the tee, then you're putting yourself in a great position to then get after a few pins and shoot some low numbers.
Okay, we're just looking at the field. We're recording this early, so we don't have the betting yet on Monday, but we do have one man at the top, Rory McIlroy, who I'm sure will be the clear favourite. You've also got some of the Irish contingent in here as well, the likes of Larry, of course, the reigning Open champion. McDowell's here, Padre Carrington, so it's great to see them supporting the Irish Open once again. But yeah, Rory is going to take a chunk out of the market. And with what you've already said, Simon, are you going to go with him for your first pick?
I am. He's going to be my first pick because, like I mentioned about the K Club, it reminds me a lot of the K Club. I was fortunate enough to play the K Club, and it's a beautiful course. And, he won it back in 2016. Some of those shots he was hitting into the last three holes were just sublime. And I think home support is massive in this tournament as well. Shane Lowry was close, I've got to be honest, because everyone loves Shane. So to have that home support in a tournament like this is massive. I know how I felt playing in British Opens. You felt one understood on the first tee already. So home support, Shane was close, but I've got to go with Rory, 7th in the US Open, starting to find a bit of form, playing nice, playing on his, back in his homeland. So yeah, Rory, clear favourite.
Okay, probably a win-only bet this week. I'm not sure there's much point going each way, but as you mentioned, in the US Open, finishing 7th, I was looking at his stats as well. He was second tee to green for the week. It's just the putting that let him down. So we know that his long game is there, and he wasn't long ago that he was a winner again on the PGA Tour. So it seems like he's starting to get back to the old Rory McIlroy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and it's great to see. The game's better for him playing like that. He excites players. There's, you look at golfers out there, and there's a handful that you watch tee off and you think he could shoot 60, and it's exciting to watch. And he is, and he's great for the game. I love watching Rory, to be fair.
Okay, Rory McIlroy then, the confident first pick. Who's the second? I'm
going to go Rob McIntyre. Love watching this lad. Just gets on with it. Looks like he's having the best time of his life playing as well, and it's showing in his results. He's going out to America. You watch the guys commentating on him. No one's ever got a bad word to say about him. And he's deceptively good. He doesn't look much, to look at. He's built like Shane, but he's just got something. His short game, he's great ball striker. When you see these lefties come on tour, there's not many bad left-handers, is there? And he's one of them. I really like watching him. And for me, this would kind of be a bit of a step up as well. Like, I look at the names on the plinth and the people who've won this tournament. It's got such prestige, especially since 2011. But it would be a step up. This would be another little step up for him. I know it was for me, and this was like my this was my fifth of my six wins, but it did feel like that step up when I was started reading the names and the history of the event. So this would be a great one for him.
Yeah, he's won his first event now, hasn't he, back in November in Cyprus, but he'll be the first to admit it's not one of the bigger events on the European Tour. So as you say, it would be great if he could go on and win this one. And what I like about him as well in particular, he was sixth on his debut at the Open Championship a couple of years ago at Portrush. So I know it's not strictly a links course, but he's obviously got form at this time of year and in these sort of conditions. So that will definitely be a boost to him.
Yeah, massively. And he's playing well. And he's in, like I said, he looks like he's just having a lot of fun. And if you can bottle that type of attitude and that mentality, then you're not going to go far wrong, are you?
Okay, so 2 picks for you. Was there anybody else who came close?
Yeah, like I said, Shane was pretty close. You know, Open champ, he's absolutely still riding the wave. You know, he's enjoying his golf, not got a care. Playing in front of your home crowd, it's really big, really big. And I used to love playing over there, and I'm not Irish. You know, they make you feel so welcome, and they are great crowds. And I think he'll just, you know, what he did in the Open, playing in front of his home crowd, I think it'll have exactly the same effect for him. So I expect him to come pretty close.
With that in mind, I'm going to have a little bet on Padre Carrington this week as well, you know, Simon, because I was looking back at the WGCs here that we had back in the day. He was sixth in one of them. And he's won this event elsewhere. I think he's finished runner-up 3 times before as well. And it wasn't long ago, out of nowhere, that he finished 4th in the US PGA Championship. So that just shows he can still compete. And I just wonder, being back in this event, whether he can pull something out the bag again. He's going to be a massive prize.
Yeah, I was wondering who your pick was going to be, to be fair.
But, I didn't do so well last week.
A big price. And like you say, what's to say he can't go and do what he did at the PGA and play that good and perform well and, you know, possibly get a top 5.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth putting a couple of quid on him just in case as well. He can roll back the years at a venue which he's performed well on before. So that's the Irish Open. Looking forward to that, Simon. Let's move on to the PGA Tour event this week as well, which is the Rocket Mortgage Classic. It's the third edition of this event, I should say. In 2019, Nate Lashley won the inaugural event at 25 under par. And then last year, Bryson DeChambeau won it at 23 under par. So it's safe to say we know that this is a certain type of track, certain type of event, and it's pretty easy to profile. Yeah, this was the easier of the two, to be honest. You know, you're going to want somebody who makes a lot of birdies, you know, does everything well. I think the front nine's pretty tree lined, but the back nine's quite the birdie fest. You know, wouldn't be surprised if we saw 29 on the back nine this week. Again, aggressive golfers. You're not looking for somebody who just kind of, although someone like Webb Simpson, who we talk about the tighter courses, he actually did all right around here last year. But yeah, I've gone for a couple of lads who I think are quite aggressive players, and you'd look at them, say in a match play event. These two lads you wouldn't want to come up against in a match play event because they make a lot of birdies. So 23 under last year, you're going to need to make plenty. You're going to need to probably be making 6, 7, 8 birdies around. Okay, before we get to your picks, just to confirm, we're at the North Course at the Detroit Golf Club. It's a par 72, around 7,370 yards. And it's interesting, the flattest course on the PGA Tour, Simon, as well. I don't know what you make of that. Do you know what? It's like being in Holland, isn't it? I mean, we used to play some courses in Holland and they were just literally flat as pancakes. Sweden springs to mind with one as well. But 7,003 par 72. Quite short that for PGA Tour, really. And it shows in the scoring. You know, back nine's wide open, flat, not that long. You can see why the scoring's as it is. Okay, let's move on to your picks then. How many have you got, and who's the first? I've just gone for 2 again. I'm going to go for Patrick Reed. A couple of years ago, finished 5th. You know, he's had a couple of top 6s in the last few weeks. Again, can go very low. Can go really low. Does everything well. And when he's in the right frame of mind, with the right attitude, and he gets everything working, he's very tough to beat. He's almost like a Poulter, you know, once they're on that charge, there's no stopping him. So I like the look of Patrick Reed this week. I was looking at his stats from last week. I think he finished 25th at the Travellers, but he was actually 5th tee to green, which bodes really well because we know how good he is a putter. So it won't take long for that to turn around.
It really won't. It really won't. And it's all about putts hold at the right time and clutch putts and things like that. And he's just got no fear. So he will be, I think he'll be looking, to be making like the 6, 7, 8 birdies around. And that'll be kind of his target because, best form of defense is aggression, isn't it? So, yeah, I think he'll do well.
Okay, Patrick Reed for you. Who's the second pick?
I've gone for Matt Wolff. Again, very aggressive player. Second last year around here. What he did in the US Open after having so long off. He clearly needed it mentally, physically. Give him a chance to totally reset, recharge, reset, come back out. And to finish 15th, having taken that long off, was an unbelievable performance, to be fair. And he probably should have finished a bit better, but it's probably just short of match time. So he missed the cut last week, but again, makes a ton of birdies and he's very aggressive. Back nine will suit him to a tee, can kind of get after it. And, it wouldn't surprise me if he was one of the lads who shot 29 on the back nine.
Yeah, and if you look back at when he won his event, the 3M Open a couple of years ago, it's at 21 under par, and Bryson DeChambeau actually was second, the winner of this event last year. So it just goes to show it's the same sort of profile. He makes a lot of birdies, very aggressive, and be no surprise to see him bounce back from last week.
No, you're not going to see anybody who's, their stroke average is like 70. You're not going to see someone like that win this week unless they have unless the hole feels like a bucket to them. But you want someone who's high up on the birdie count, and he is. Okay.
Anyone else come close this week?
I mean, Bryson, obviously, he'd won it last year, 23 under, still playing nice, got himself in a great position in the US Open and just kind of fell away a little bit. But he's probably going to be favourite, isn't he, Bryson, with the form that he's in and with him winning it last year. So, but they're the two. I kind of didn't want to go for another. I went with Rory in the Irish, so didn't want to go for a clear favourite here. So, but yeah, if I was a betting man, I'd be putting money on Bryson, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure the cross-Atlantic double between the two favourites will be popular this week.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw one at you as well, see what you think of Joaquin Niemann this week, because I was looking at his stats and back in my head I thought he makes a lot of birdies, Niemann. He's actually 8th in scoring average this year, 16th in birdie average, and he was 5th on his only start at the track a couple of years ago, so it obviously suits the way that he plays. And I look back at his recent performances. Well, his only win was again at 21 under par. And then he lost to Harris English, interestingly, in a playoff at the Tournament of Champions at the beginning of the year at 25 under par. So, again, it's just another very attacking, aggressive player. So, hopefully he can go close.
Yeah, these young kids, they get after it, don't they? I actually looked at him for my pick. So, I just went with the other two. But, yeah, very, very good player, put in some really good performances and, again, knows how to go low. You've seen it with the scores that he's been shooting. So, yeah, good pick, that one.
Okay, well, we'll share that one because I know you wanted to get him into the staking plan. We'll
just
see.
Like you can have Padre as well.
Yeah, you're not too confident about that one. Come on, Padre. We'll see. Hopefully he can roll back the years. Right, so it's about you, though. Who's the best bet out of the 4 you selected?
Do you know what? Everyone would say, oh, McIlroy. I'm going to go Mcintyre.
Okay.
I'm going to go Mcintyre. I think for money back purposes and value for money, I'm going to go Mcintyre. I think it's, like you say, it's about time, that little step up, win a big event. I think I'm going to go Mcintyre.
Okay. Hopefully he can get his hands on that.
Not this exact one. Yeah. I think he'd like that.
Okay. Right. Looking forward to this week. It's going to be a cracker, the Irish Open. I know fond memories to you. And then next week, not bad as well, the Renaissance Club.
Great course. I felt like how I went up to watch it a couple of years ago and they murder it, to be fair. They do. I'm kind of hoping they've grown the rough in a bit, made it a little bit tighter, added a few extra tees, things like that, because they murdered it last couple of years. But it's nice to see. It's nice to see as well. It's quite linksy. You know, it's not your typical links, but there's a lot of holes that are quite linksy. So, but it's a really
man-made links, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, exactly. But it's a really nice destination, nice enjoyable course, and it's a nice part of the world up there. So it's still a fantastic event. And do you know what? Someone's going to be happy at the end of the week, aren't they?
Yeah, hopefully it's us if we back the winner. But it's going to be a great field. I had a look at the field. Jon Rahm's making his first appearance since winning the US Open, so it'll be great to see him over here. And also got lots of different Americans on the PGA Tour coming over just to get warmed up for the Open Championship. So cannot wait for that as well. Any early thoughts before we go on the Open Championship? Royal St. George's, you played well there.
I did. I had my only top 10 in an Open there. I finished 9th. I got quite lucky a few times. There's a shot doing its viral at the minute, and
Darren won't admit it, but he got quite lucky as well towards the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he got lucky on the front 9. He was going in a pot bunker about 40 yards short of the green.
Skipped it over.
Guaranteed double, bounced over it, and he 2-putted for par.
You knew it was his day after that.
You know what though? That's the type. It's the type of golf where you do need that bit of luck. You really do. The odd bounce here, the odd bounce there. Not really thought that much about it. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got 2 weeks. You don't have to have a bet just yet.
Weeks.
So we'll focus in on the Irish Open this week, and you can get studying and try and remember those feelings, those different holes that you experienced back in the day at the Royal St. George's. Cannot wait for it. All right. Pleasure as always, Simon. Thanks for your company.
Thanks, mate. Enjoyed it.
Continue enjoying the golf, the tennis, of course, Wimbledon, and the Euros. We've got loads to bet on this week at betfred.com. But of course, our focus here is on the golf. So make sure you get to the website before Thursday when these 2 events get underway. And hopefully one of our picks can pick up that very nice trophy that Simon has prided place on his mantelpiece. We'll be back next week to review it all. See you then.